This is a virus that has swept across the globe. Once humans die, they will become emotionless zombies. The surviving humans not only have to resist the zombies but also contend with each other for survival resources. In Season 3, Madison's family, after fleeing from Los Angeles, arrives at a dam with abundant water resources. In the struggle with other factions, Nick presses a switch, causing the dam to collapse. Fortunately, Madison's family survives. Moving on to Fear the Walking Dead, Season 4, Madison searches for the members of her original group. Even Nick's girlfriend, Luciana, forcefully returns. However, Daniel is missing. They, along with other survivors, establish a new base in a sports arena in Texas. Madison becomes a leader-like figure. The people here are self-sufficient, growing vegetables and raising livestock, enjoying a year of stable life. However, this tranquility is about to be disrupted by the arrival of a little girl named Charlie, found during a supply search. Perhaps due to being a mother, Madison cares deeply for Charlie. She even tirelessly builds a room for her. When Madison asked Charlie where her home was, the girl obviously flashed a panicked look, and then pointed in a distant direction. When they first set up their base, they agreed to never go outside the circle drawn on the map, but the direction Charlie pointed was just outside the circle. Despite objections, Madison insists on taking a few people outside to help Charlie find her family. Every time they go out, they fire a baseball filled with gunpowder. Soon, they reach the town Charlie pointed to. Luciana and Victor's group. Madison and her daughter are in a separate group. Victor finds a strange scene: no living or zombies, and all supplies are gone. On the other hand, Madison also came to a farmhouse at the edge of the town, and again there was no one there. An eerie flag with numbers hangs at the top of a can. Following this, Madison discovers that it seems like an explosion has occurred here. Madison senses human presence, finding half a box of non-rotten food on an abandoned bed. As she attempts to reply to Alicia via the radio, a gun is pressed against Madison's back by a visibly nervous woman. She demands the keys to their vehicle. Victor and Alicia, hearing the radio conversation, rush to the scene. Madison tries to persuade the woman verbally and invites her to return to their base. However, the woman, aware of the harsh reality of the apocalypse, only wants the keys to leave quickly. As the woman is about to leave, Alicia, holding a shotgun, approaches. Victor and Alicia cut off the woman's escape route. Both sides refrain from shooting. The woman panics and runs to the top of a water tank. Madison quickly follows, attempting to reason with the woman. To show sincerity, Alicia puts down her gun. At that moment,
Don't!
the tank was filled with black, stinking water. When the woman got her footing, she realized it was full of zombies. Madison instructs Alicia to open the valve below, and she jumps in, trying to save this innocent life. After the baptism of the apocalypse, they are no longer at a loss when facing zombies. In a short time, they join forces to kill several zombies. However, as time goes on, it becomes increasingly dangerous. Outside, Victor and Alicia are anxious to open the valve. With Victor's efforts, the valve finally opens. Suddenly, black water mixed with zombies gushes out from the bottom. Even the woman is washed out, but they do not see Madison. They had no time to vomit, and their priority was to kill the zombies first. Alicia quickly searches for her mother in the water tank, only to see a shaking figure in the corner.
Mom?
Fortunately, Madison is not bitten. The group recuperated into the night, and Victor questioned,
Madison, who on God's earth did we risk life and limb to save this time?
No one's gone till they're gone.
Perhaps feeling guilty, she gave her name, Naomi. They calmed down and realized the strangeness of the place. These zombies were clearly led into the water tank by someone. However, Naomi is unaware. She arrived here only last night. Inside the base, Nick, who was roasting on the fire, suddenly heard the faint sound of music and suggested that he should go out to check it out. Concerned about his mother who hasn't returned, he asks Charlie to open the door for him. Nick hasn't ventured outside since the community was established, haunted by his past experiences. This leads to a distracted state while driving, causing the car to crash into a pillar. Zombies quickly approach Nick, but those inside the base cover him with sniper rifles. Nick can only stumble back.
Just taking a stroll.
Late at night, Madison apologizes to Charlie, stating that they did not find her family, implying they may have been killed. Victor is cleaning up Nick's mess again, and Luciana is using her sniper rifle to kill any zombies that come near them.
You guys need to get inside. Right now.
Why, what's wrong?
Ditch the truck! Right now!
At this moment, several large trucks suddenly appear behind them. Startled, they abandon the car and rush back. This situation usually implies potential friction. 7 or 8 cars stop at the entrance of the stadium, but they do not launch an attack. A man gets out of the leading car, takes out a bicycle, turns on the stereo, and rides the bike in a carefree manner. The zombies were attracted to him and followed his lead. The heavily armed people were baffled as to what this was all about. The zombies around the man increase. Another man opens the back door of a truck, sets up a platform, and the man rides the bike into it, with zombies following. Immediately, a man takes a stool and sits at their entrance, while another writes something on the truck. This whole situation is too strange. The people on the wall are puzzled, but Madison looks at the numbers the man wrote. Isn't it the same as the flag seen during the day? Just different numbers? Perhaps these people are responsible for the water tank incident. More and more people take out small stools and sit in front of the car, seemingly waiting for something. The base gate slowly opens, and Madison, as the leader, steps forward without hesitation. In terms of numbers, the base has an absolute advantage. Madison puts one hand on her pistol and talks to Melvin, understanding their purpose is a priority. From Melvin's words, Madison learns that the tragedy at the water tank camp is closely related to these people. Melvin even knows about the current state of the base's vegetables, and he knows the names of Nick and others. Madison is puzzled about how these people know so much about them.
Come here, kiddo.
To their disbelief, Charlie turns out to be their spy, figuring out how much supplies and weapons they have. Melvin continues, saying they have 2 choices, either surrender their supplies and weapons, or they wait for them to die and take their things. Madison naturally responded to him very forcefully.
You're not taking anything from us.
Unintentionally, the little girl they took in turns out to be a spy. The community members treated her with utmost care, even building a house for her. What's surprising is that Charlie sold intelligence about the community to another group. This mysterious team, despite their peculiar behavior, desires their weapons and stockpiled supplies. However, they refrain from launching an attack. Instead, they leisurely wait at the base's entrance every day because they know the base is on the verge of collapse. Their principle is not to take things from the living but to wait until everyone inside the base dies so they can claim what they want. And so it was. As time passes, the crops in the field are infected by bugs, and the stored food is nearly depleted. Despite the outside people waiting leisurely, Madison remains hopeful, believing that Charlie is just a child and continues to build a house for her, hoping to bring her back one day. Even Luciana comes to the gate and places a book on the ground in an attempt to communicate with Charlie. Charlie looked at Luciana outside and wondered if he ever felt guilty. A month passes, the crops are entirely infected, and the stored food is almost gone. Nick, feeling disheartened, decides they must go out to find supplies. Nick volunteered to go with his mother this time. Melvin doesn't stop them and even wishes them good luck, but he returns the little prince to Nick. Unfortunately, things do not go as planned. Madison and Nick arrive at a house, the 9th place they've searched, and find familiar vehicles filled with supplies. The group of people has once again beat them to it, emptying everything. At this moment, the people inside the base call Madison on the radio. Madison had just switched off the intercom when the same sound came from inside the house, and it was Charlie who came out with a walkie-talkie. Turns out Charlie also stole one of their walkie-talkies, so it's no wonder these guys are able to know where they're going for supplies every time. Despite this, Nick and Madison are not angry and even try to convince Charlie to come back to the base. The men were still taunting them about their naivety. Madison and Nick had to leave. In the following days, this group of people scavenges all the supplies within a 50-kilometer radius. Madison and her group return empty-handed each time, even resorting to eating pancakes made from feed. This time, they decide to split into groups and search beyond the 50-kilometer range. Victor and Cole go to a farm, Nick and Luciana go to a supermarket, and Alicia and Naomi go to an amusement park. Victor and Cole find nothing but succulent plants. Victor then takes Cole to an abandoned car park and Cole wonders what they are doing here. Victor first opened the boot of a car with lots of food in it. Victor says there's enough supplies here for the two of us to get out of here, and it's something I prepared a long time ago. If we bring it back, it's not enough to feed everyone for a day. Victor admitted that he was selfish. This post-apocalyptic survival base has begun to eat pig feed, and they've run out of food. The crops they planted are all diseased, and outside, a group of bandits is waiting for them to reach their breaking point, having scavenged all resources within a 50-kilometer radius. With no other options, Madison and her group send out 3 teams to search in more distant locations. Victor and Cole's team finds nothing, but Victor reveals his intentions. A cunning businessman before the apocalypse, he had secretly prepared supplies to escape at any time. He persuades Cole to leave, claiming the base can no longer hold on, but Cole insists on standing with the base residents and drives back alone. Another team, Alicia and Naomi, arrives at an amusement park. Climbing the roller coaster track to the highest point, they unexpectedly find heavy weapons. While they were studying it, a zombie jumped out and slid down the tube with Naomi. A second zombie attacks Alicia, and in her desperate struggle, she grabs the gun barrel, preventing herself from falling. Naomi and the zombies slid to the bottom. There were so many zombies in the middle of the funnel-shaped base, but Naomi was able to hold her position and didn't slide down. Alicia struggled, and the gun barrel slipped from her hand, sliding down the pipe to the bottom. The situation is also a shock to her. Crawling towards the distant gun barrel, Alicia, just as Naomi was about to be attacked, wielded the weapon to dispatch the zombies. The gun barrel later became Alicia's exclusive weapon. After dealing with the zombies, they successfully found a plethora of useful supplies. Naomi quietly took the car keys, instructing Alicia to use binoculars to survey the distant area. Without much thought, Alicia earnestly examined the horizon. When she turned around, Naomi had already left. What she didn't expect was that the car had only gone 2 or 3 meters and the fuel tank was already empty. Alicia came down and didn't get angry. She said, "Either we stick together or we go our separate ways. I'll even look for petrol for you." Naomi also advised Alicia that the baseball field couldn't hold out for much longer. Soon, Cole returned to the base with a vehicle. Madison was about to ask Victor why he hadn't returned when another car arrived right behind him. Victor ended up bringing the supplies back instead of running away alone. Cole chose not to expose Victor.
Boy, we were due. Good work.
Meanwhile, Nick and Luciana's team discovered a map. Nick made a great suggestion that we could go very far and find seeds and fertilizer so that the base could be like it was before. Eventually, Naomi returned to the base, moved by the sincerity of its people, and the people of the base are really starting to come together. Next, Madison and the others plan to go to a dangerous place where they might find the seeds and fertilizer they need.
They'll be back.